Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our coffee chat series here at Cafe Innovate Hub. As you already know, this series is about having conversations that truly matter to our digital community. Today, we're diving into a very big topic that affects every entrepreneur, from small shops on the street corners to corporate businesses, the future of MSMEs in a digital economy. Seriously, the world is moving very fast digitally. E-commerce, automation, remote work, they are no longer foreign words. They work here now. And by that, I mean that they are shaping how our MSMEs survive and how they grow. In Nigeria and of course across Africa, it's not new knowledge that MSMEs are the backbone of our economy, contributing seriously to the GDP. And so utilizing digital tools have now become a trend due to its ability to seriously transform businesses positively. Still, there are still many businesses that struggle to catch up in this digital wave. So the big question is, how can MSMEs not just survive, but thrive in the digital economy of tomorrow and, of today? So that's what we're going to explore together today on the session. Once again, my name is Hope Kibu, and I'm excited to be joined by Elijah Moses, an expert who works closely with businesses, supporting them on their journey to sustainability. Hello, Elijah. Welcome to the session.
Ayo.
We're happy to have you here. So, guys, Elijah serves as the currently serves as the head of partnerships at Our Labs Nigeria, and he's also the founder of Variant X, through which he leverages innovation, technology, and education to transform communities and empower young people at scale. Welcome, Elijah. We'll just go ahead and ask the first questions, which is basically when we say digital economy, what does that essentially mean for MSMEs? And how does it go beyond using apps or using social media?
All right. So that's a very good question, right? I think the first thing here is understanding what the word digital economy means, right? So breaking it down to like first principle. Digital simply means any um any system, right, in place that does not involve much human contact, right? So when you have less human contact, you have a digital system, right? Then when you define an economy is it's an exchange, right? An exchange of value. So value is being created and value is being captured in terms of profit. So combining both works together, digital economy, it has to do with activities that involves less of human contact that ultimately results to the exchange of trade and services. So it goes beyond just you using now, social media platforms, right? I know that most of the things that are discussed around data economy has to do with you plugging yourself into a system. But beyond just that, even things that seem so common. So I'll give you a case study, right? So, for instance, you have businesses that utilize like a POS model, right? So POS model means contact-led payment, right? So you have as little as having those systems in place, right? Interactions can actually go on. But to a great extent, you cannot actually plug yourself into the data economy if you don't use other tools out there. Right? You're no longer in the stone age. I mean, of course. So you have to compete. And to compete, you need to plug yourself into that digital radar where you're seeing. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're
Um,
welcome.
I believe that your definition is a great foundation, right? And for me, digital economy is not just about the tools, it's about how, rethinking how our business operates and how
Yeah.
we can connect to new customers and basically how we
Mhm.
can compete even on a global scale. So,
Very true.
Nigeria's digital economy is moving at a very fast pace. At the moment, mobile internet penetration is now over 50%.
Yes.
Fintech adoption is accelerating. In fact, last
Yeah.
year alone, mobile money transactions reached a record of 71.5 trillion naira,
Hmm.
according
Hmm.
to Naira metrics. So,
Hmm.
Elijah, from your perspective, what key shifts in the next 3 years should our MSMEs be paying attention to?
All right. So this is a very interesting question, right? So In other words, what is the direction of the future and how can we predict the direction of the future and prepare for such prediction? I think one way to capture the direction of the future is to look at current trends, right? So I'm going to mention four key areas. So looking to the future, I'm seeing more interconnectedness, right? We live in a global village, right? And as a result of we live in a global village, there's a high need for businesses to stand out by collaborating, right? So collaboration simply means that, you look at what your business is doing quite well and look at companies that are offering possible technologies to enable your business advance and find ways to find ways to connect what you do with the available technology, and that will give you scale, right? So I see strong drive towards collaboration into the future. And number two, I see the rise of tools, required tools to drive business automation. Automation just means how you do things better, faster, quicker. How the value you create can be distributed to the customers you're targeting in real time and in a quick time. So there's a rise of digital tools, business automation. So I will encourage every business owner here to learn how you can connect your business into these tools. I mean, there are platforms like N8N. So N8N gives you insight into how you can build a full scale automation. So imagine that you're a business owner. This is very interesting. I mean, one of the key things that you need to factor in is the probability of you doing international businesses across time zones, right? So people might want to get things from you while you're sleeping. All right. Australia is like 7 hours ahead, and other countries have different time zones. So for you to stand out and ensure that you don't allow the profit to slip past you, you need to be able to build this automation system. So you can go to N8N, right, and build the system around your stuff. There are tools that can help you. You can check out HubSpot. So HubSpot marketing tool gives you certain guidelines of how you can build automation system to what you do. And thirdly, the direction of the future, I would say there seems to be um, a stronger widening of gap. Let me explain between the people who create the value, right, and the people who are looking for this value. I know normal convention is with technology advancement, you should be able to reduce the gap, but it's not always this. It's not always the case, right? Sometimes you have this value here, and then this technology seems to exist, but people are not so responsive to change, right? So you can capitalize on people's less responsiveness to change and build a business model that can position yourself forward. I'll summarize this with this. I remember Jeff Bezos was asked a question, and this is a summary. I believe this will serve as a guideline to help business owners predict the future. He said, most times people ask the question, what will change about the future? There's a lot of what's going to be the change dynamic? What is the change management? What will be changing? But the question to really ask is, what will not change in the future? Right? Because the constants that don't change in the future are the constants that will keep you competitive. The constants that does not change in the future as a business owner are the constant that will keep you competitive. So even though many people are looking at predicting the trend, ask yourself what will not change, and then position yourself, align yourself with those things that will not change, and you have the advantage. So yeah, basically, I think this is some of the ideas I have been, playing around in my mind for quite a while, and I believe that it will be of an advantage to you listening to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very eye-opening, Elijah. I think that you just highlighted that, MSMEs need to turn these trends into opportunities. So instead
Mm,
of being worried or instead of being, I don't know, skeptical, they can turn these trends into opportunities.
yeah.
Um, out there, we see a lot of tools that can help our businesses. But then there's another
Yeah.
question, really. Uh,
Okay.
I know this is, not part of our
No,
conversation, but
that's
I
that's
just
that's
want
yeah.
to.
It's
So,
fine. It's fine.
do you think that the people who are creating this value, creating these tools, are doing their user research well? Could that be a reason why there's this huge gap? Um,
That's a very good question. So should I shock you? Let me shock you. Every technological tool that has ever been created in history was created with the intentions of testing the use of this tool from the end user. So what that means in essence is that most of the technology tools you see out there, there's not so much strong user case to cover a global scale. But when the users, you coming to use this tool, the more you interact with it, and of course, they monitor how you interact with it. There's a data insight into your behavior on this tool. Being able to build a data insight on how people make use of a tool gives deeper understanding, create a deeper understanding into the use of that tool, right? Say, I'll give a practical example, like ChatGPT. They didn't factor Nigerians. We're not in the picture,
Yeah.
right? Africa. As a matter of fact, it was an unconventional direction to see that a tool like, ChatGPT can be globally used, right? It was created for some, little research in the lab and testing out with some few persons who knew about the solution. And lo and behold, there was this virality around it. So most times, you, the user, let me use the word, the data points. You create the required data based on your behavior, which informs the better development of that tool. So the more you use it, the more you inform its use. So yeah, yes,
Okay, so thank you very much for clarifying that, Elijah.
you're
So let's
welcome.
come back to our conversation for today.
Mhm.
You work with entrepreneurs, right? Especially in um your role at our labs and also, Verizon. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing it well.
Then next. Yeah. Yeah. Well, correct. You're fine. You're fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your work so far, in your experience so far with these business owners, what do you think is stopping them from embracing the digital opportunities that we have now? Is it the mindset? Is it skills? Is it infrastructure? Or is it something else that nobody is talking about? And then, what role should the government and key stakeholders, including investors, be playing to support MSMEs in this digital shift?
That's a very interesting question. So, what are the challenges and how can relevant stakeholders address this? So, I think there are basically three challenges that um, I have identified so far. The first one is a mindset shift, right? By the way, when we mention MSME, I think there also needs to be a clarification of what MSME means, right? Because it's a big word. In fact, it's a word used to classify other things, right? So under SMEs or MSMEs, you have small businesses, right? You have medium businesses, right? You have large businesses, and of course, and it goes far and wide. So depending on what level you are in as a business owner, listening to this section, that will determine what challenge you are facing. But I'll just give a collective number of challenge. The first one is a mindset challenge, I would say. Most business persons who do business here believe that um, the money, even though it's here, there's a need for an external help to enable you access this money. So that's why you see that most people who are trying to either build businesses and then combine what they do with technology, they are looking at how they can raise the biggest round, right? So how can I raise, whether it's a pre-seed, a seed, or Series A, or how can I connect with the bank to give me a loan or facilities to enable me to do this thing? But let me shock you. Business is very simple. Create value that solves people's problem. Make that problem so interesting, make that solution to the problem so interesting, and build a sense of community presence around that solution, people will keep on buying from you, right? So most times it's not about the money you're able to pull out there. It's about the necessity and the importance of the solution you've created to meet this specific need. Secondly, many people don't understand the let me use the word, the economic makeup of Nigeria and Africa, right? And they try to come up with solutions that does not necessarily meet the vital pain points of Nigerians and Africans. I'll give you a practical example, right? So you have somebody who is building a solution, or maybe you're in a company, right? You are in, let's say you are in you sell feeds, not feeds. Feed is even agriculture. Let's say you're building an app that makes people to rest better or things like that, right? Africa is not at the direction of the future that we're looking at the moment. Right? There are certain processes that needs to be in place to enable us align towards the direction of the future. So there is not so much strong futuristic drive within the economy is that you see in other developing countries, right? So when you try to create solutions for pain points that does not exist, you will run out of money and burn out. So it's important for you to understand the problem, right? The critical problem. How to do this is very simple. I'll tell you. Look at what the big guys are doing. Look at what the big guys are focusing on. Look at the industry they're focusing on. Look at what Dangote Group is focusing on. Look at what Otedola is doing. Look at what these big guys who have built a system of monopoly have done within the economy. Those direction they are focused on is the direction that has kept them rich, right? So it starts with the orientation on the market. Now, secondly, I'll stop in the third point. Africa is not Silicon Valley. Listen, Africa is not Silicon Valley. So many people are trying to get that Silicon Valley status, right? And that's why you discover this, that most businesses that say, and of course, the next 5 years, they don't exist beyond 5 years. So sometimes they crack beyond them. And one of the reasons why that is so is because when these businesses got started, they got started with a pain point. But after a period of time, they tried to export their presence into a different region and try to address the problem in the primary region from a different region. So, for instance, you have a business who got started in Nigeria. You've not conquered the entire landscape of Nigeria. We have 36 states, 215 or 35 million people. And now you're like, well, the market is far. I want to spread to Ghana. You got to spread to the US. Hello, you've not captured this market. You've not captured even 1%, but you want to spread so fast. And guess what? In trying to spread so fast, getting into other markets, you burn up resources. And because you don't have a framework for sustainability, the business end up either crashing. You raise big money, but guess what? You raise big money in a different place to solve the problem in your primary assignment. It does not work. It doesn't work that way. So you need to be here, right? Solve this problem, address the challenge here. And then lastly, and I'll stop here, is there's not so much strong ties between the private and public sector, right? There's not so much strong tie. I mean, you hear that the government is releasing, let's say, 200 and something billions for MSME. Where is this money going to? What are the channels of appropriation? Who is receiving it? Okay, in fact, you've heard of most of us, I mean, you listening to this conversation, you are in certain WhatsApp community where you see news messages, 150 billion, 200 billion. The question that comes to the mind is, okay, now they've released the money. Where's the money? Right? So I think there's a lot of gatekeeping, right? And with all honesty, in most developing economy, gatekeeping it's very, very common, right? Because people believe that how far I rise is dependent on how many backs of the people I'm able to climb on, right? So these are the challenges. Now, how to address it in two ways. One is there's the need for businesses to have data insight, right? So whatever business you do, try to see if you can gather data, right? Gather data to understand what exactly you're doing, because businesses that don't have strong data backbone cannot build for the future. Businesses that lack strong data backbone cannot improve their services and delivery. And lastly, businesses that lack strong data backbone cannot be competitive. Other people will study your misalignment and they'll capitalize on that. Now, secondly, there's a need. I think there's a strong need for us to there's a strong need for, I won't say government, I would say ourselves, because most times the government rely on what the SMEs can do, right? You might think they have the policies, but we determine what we do for them. There's a need for business owners to, in Nigeria, get the data, connect with the data. I mean, data insight. And then lastly, try as much as possible as a business owner. Don't just limit your business to being in Nigeria, right? So build networks far and wide, even as you stay here. Don't build a network to export yourself. Build a network and keep yourself imported here. You're not going anywhere. And by so doing, you have a bigger leverage. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Elijah, for your practical insights so far. I'm sure that our
You are
community
welcome.
members and everyone that's watching this video right now has already learned so much. I've learned so much already. But one very quick question before we end the session.
Okay.
So for that everyday business owner that is watching this video right now, what do you think is the practical first steps that they need to take in order to better position themselves to engage in the Nigerian digital economy?
Okay. So there are 5 things you can do real quick. Number one, know your corporate status, right? Know your corporate status. So you need to ensure that you are a registered business, right? So ensure that your CSE is done, and whether you have a business name, and then good. And if you want to go a bit higher, have like an LSC. Let me tell you, it's way better that way than just having the business name, right? So go to CSE or meet individuals who can help you, register your company. Number two, join Smedan, right? So check out for aggregated platforms that brings commerce and bring businesses together. You have Smedan. Check out if you're in Lagos and you have your business in Lagos. Check out LCCI, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Join communities, join strategic communities like the ISN network. You can't escape it, right? Where do you want to escape to? Join the ISN network. Find a way in which you can connect yourself to the AfriLab network. Very, very important because the opportunities reside oftentimes in the network, right? Number four, look out for tools that can give you the advantage. Check out N8N. N8N is it's a big platform. Check them out. Check out even the Google automation tools. It's free. It's free. Use it. Use ChatGPT to your leverage. Build pipelines that can help you automate your process, right? Number five, and most importantly, position yourself by placing yourself in environments that gives you business traffic. So there's a platform called tradekey.com. So if you're a business owner there, place yourself on tradekey.com. There's a lot of guys who would actually do business with you there. Try and see how you can connect with MSME Africa, right? So you can place yourself in their radar as well. That gives you big leverage. Then lastly, as much as possible, if you can set up a website, don't worry, it's not too expensive, or a landing page, right? It's free. It's free. Go to card.co. Google Simple Sites is a platform you can also use Wix. So there are free platforms out there that can give you the leverage to do these things. I remember ultimately it's about connectedness. The more connected you are, the more deeper your business will actually go, and the stronger the bandwidth of your expansion. So yeah, basically these are the things you can actually do to give yourself an advantage out there. Yes.
Yes, so you had it here, everyone. As little steps as joining communities, using Google free digital tools like the Google Workspace, using ChatGPT, they help your businesses.
Yes.
Even setting up, a website. These days we have some of these platforms that allows you to build your, websites for free. We have
Mm-hmm.
even digital tools like Bumper that gives you access.
Yes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that gives you access to a website and it's quite easy, simple to use, and all of that. So thank you very much, Elijah, for sharing all of these insights with us. I don't know if you have anything
You're
else to share with
welcome.
our community.
Hey, anything about to share with your community. So I want to say a big thanks to the Cafe Innovate Hub. I mean, you guys are doing something really amazing. There are three things you do that make you really stand out. The exceptionality in delivery. I mean, not many hubs will actually do this, and you're doing this willingly because you believe in the power of knowledge and the right information that can empower businesses. Thank you for that creative expression. Number two, thank you for creating an enabling safe space, right? Most times you don't have things happening like this because there's a lot of gatekeeping. But when you have these kind of conversations, are conversations that will empower the listeners and necessitate that they advance forward to take corresponding actions, right? You're providing them the keys that can unlock the doors. And then lastly, thank you so much for making this section very interesting because there's nothing that's uninteresting than a boring conversation, right? But we have conversation with people are smiling, they're happy. It's good. Thank you so,
Thank,
so much. I'm grateful.
thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you. We're happy to have you here too. And thank you for all the compliments.
you're
So if
welcome.
there's one takeaway from this conversation today, it's that the digital economy is not coming, it's already here. And businesses need to engage with it today. And engaging with it today means them becoming stronger, standing stronger,
Mm-hmm,
being more sustainable tomorrow. And Cafe Innovate Hub, we believe that
mm-hmm,
the future belongs to those who dare to learn, who dare to adapt, and who dare to innovate.
mm-hmm.
And that includes every MSME in our community. So thank you once again, Elijah. I thoroughly enjoyed this session. Please make sure you come again.
You're most
Okay, so
welcome.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
Thank you to everyone
All
for
right.
joining this coffee chat series. Until next time, let's keep learning. Bye.
Bye.